Your first 90 days online. A simple plan for starting your online business. So, you've decided to start an online business, you've chosen a direction, you've thought about what you want to offer, and hopefully, after watching the last video, you have a simple business plan that gives you some idea of where you're going. But now comes the part that can feel a little overwhelming. Actually starting, because having a plan is one thing. Knowing what to do first, what to do next, and what you should probably ignore for now is something completely different. And this is where I think many beginners get stuck. They start watching videos and they think they know what it is they are going to do. And then they discover another strategy, then another tool, then someone tells them they need a website and someone else says they need an email list, and another person says they need to be on 5 different social media platforms. And before they know it, they're trying to build an entire business in a week. So today I want to make things much simpler. I'm going to walk you through what I would focus on during your first 90 days online. Not everything you could possibly do, not everything someone on the internet might tell you that you need to do, just the important things. The things that can actually move your business forward. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, take a breath. You don't have to build the whole business today, you just need to know what you're doing next. Days 1 to 30. Build your foundation. Let's start with the first 30 days, and remember, your first month is not about making your business perfect, it's just about building your foundation. Think about building a house. You don't start by choosing the curtains, you start with the foundation. Your online business is the same. There are certain basic pieces you need to put into place before you worry about growing. Step 1. Get clear on what you're building. What are you selling? Who are you helping? And what problem are you helping them solve? These questions sound simple, but they are incredibly important, because if you don't know who you're trying to help, it's very difficult to create content, products, or offers that people actually want. Let's say you want to help busy parents. That's a good starting point, but you might narrow that down even further. Maybe you're helping parents who are struggling with children's behavior, or perhaps you're helping new parents create simple routines. The more clearly you understand your audience, the easier it becomes to talk to them. Keep in mind that you do not have to help everyone. In fact, trying to help everyone can make your message much weaker. Think about having a conversation with one person. What does that person need? What are they struggling with? What questions are they asking? That's the person you want to picture when you're creating your content. Step 2. Choose one main offer. During your first month, I also want you to resist the temptation to create 10 different products. This is a mistake I see beginners make all the time. They think they need a huge collection of things before they can call themselves a business. So they create an ebook, then a course, then a membership, then coaching, then printables, then affiliate products. And suddenly they've created so much work that they don't know what to focus on. Does it start with one main offer? It could be a service, it could be a digital product, it could be a course, it could be something else that fits your business model. The important thing is that you have one clear thing you're working toward. You can always add more later. But right now, simple is your friend. Step 3. Start creating your content. If you're building an online business, people need a way to discover you, and one of the best ways to do that is by creating useful content. This might be YouTube videos, blog posts, social media posts, Pinterest content, or any other platform that makes sense for your audience. But please don't feel like you have to be everywhere, because you don't. Choose 1 or 2 places where your audience actually spends time. Then concentrate your energy there. And here's something else I want you to understand: your content doesn't have to be brilliant, it needs to be useful. There's a difference. You don't have to sit there thinking, how can I create the most amazing piece of content anyone has ever seen? Instead, ask yourself, what question can I answer for someone today? That's it. Maybe someone is searching for how to start an online business with very little money. Maybe they're wondering which business model is right for them. Maybe they're struggling with staying motivated, or maybe they're trying to figure out what tools they actually need. If you can help answer those questions, you're creating something valuable. Step 4. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Because it probably won't. Your website won't be perfect. Your first video probably won't be perfect. Your first social media post may not be perfect, and you know what? That's okay. You will learn by doing. I know this can be difficult. We want to feel prepared. We want to know that we're doing everything correctly before we put ourselves out there. But there is no perfect starting point. There is only starting and then improving. So during those first 30 days, give yourself permission to be a beginner. You're allowed to learn. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to look back at something you created a month ago and think, wow, I would do that differently now. That's actually a good thing. It simply means you're learning. Days 31 to 60. Start showing up consistently. By this point, you should have your basic foundation in place. You know what your business is about. You know who you're trying to help. You have your main offer and you're starting to create content. Now it's time to focus on consistency, and I want to be very careful with that word. Consistency does not mean working every waking hour. It doesn't mean posting several times a day. It doesn't mean spending every weekend glued to your computer. Consistency simply means showing up regularly. For example, maybe you publish one YouTube video every week. Maybe you write one helpful blog post each week. Maybe you create several smaller pieces of content from that one main piece. The exact schedule isn't nearly as important as finding something you can actually maintain. Because what good is an ambitious schedule if you can't keep it going? A simple schedule you can follow for 6 months is much more valuable than an exhausting schedule you abandon after 2 weeks. Start listening to your audience. Your second month is also the time to start paying attention. What are people responding to? What questions are they asking? What topics seem to interest them? What content gets more views? What do people comment on? What do they ignore? This information is incredibly valuable, and you don't need complicated analytics to start learning. Pay attention, listen, watch, and notice patterns. For example, let's say you create 5 videos, 4 of them get very little attention, but 1 gets significantly more views. Don't immediately assume that the other 4 were failures. Instead, look at the successful one. What was different? Was the topic more specific? Did it solve a problem? Was the title clearer? Did people have a strong reason to click? These clues can help you create better content going forward. And this is where your business starts becoming less about guessing and more about learning. Don't chase every trend. There's another trap you need to avoid during this stage, and that is constantly changing direction. You might see someone online making money with a particular strategy. Then suddenly you think, maybe I should do that. A few days later, you discover something else, and before long, you've completely forgotten what your original plan was. Please don't do this to yourself. You don't need to chase every new opportunity. Your job during these first 60 days is to learn what works for your business, not someone else's. You can learn from other people. Absolutely. But don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You don't know how long they've been working. You don't know how much experience they have. You don't know what happened behind the scenes. Stay focused on your own path. Days 61 to 90. Start looking for what's working. Now we reach the final 30 days of your first 90. This is where things start getting really interesting. You've been working consistently. You've been creating content. You've been learning about your audience, and now you have some information to work with. This is the time to start asking, what's working? And just as importantly, what's not working? Maybe one type of content is getting more attention. Maybe people are asking for a particular product. Maybe your audience keeps asking the same question. These are signals. Pay attention to them. You don't have to have thousands of followers. You don't need thousands of website visitors. You don't need hundreds of sales. You're looking for signs that you're moving in the right direction. Maybe one person sends you a message saying your video helped them. That's a signal. Maybe someone joins your email list. That's a signal. Maybe someone purchases your first small product. That's a very important signal. Don't overlook the small wins. They matter. Start improving what you already have. During this final month, I would also encourage you to stop constantly creating new things and start improving some of the things you've already created. Maybe your website needs clearer wording. Maybe one of your videos could have a better title. Maybe an old blog post could be updated. Maybe your offer needs to be explained more clearly. Maybe your call to action could be stronger. You don't always have to build something new. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is improve what you already have, and this can also save you a lot of time. What about money? Now let's talk about something that is probably on your mind. When should you expect to start making money? This is where I want to be realistic with you. Your first 90 days may not produce a huge income, and that's okay. I know there are plenty of people online who make it sound like you can start a business on Monday and be making thousands of dollars by Friday. Maybe that happens for some people, but I'm sure it's very rare, and it is not something you should build your expectations around. Building a real business takes time. You are learning, you're testing ideas, you're building trust, you're creating content, you're figuring out what your audience wants, and all of those things take time. So instead of making your first 90 days all about income, give yourself some other goals. Maybe your goal is to publish 12 videos. Maybe it's to build your first 50 email subscribers. Maybe it's to create your first product. Maybe it's to make your first sale. Those are meaningful milestones, and once you reach them, you build from there. What you should not do during your first 90 days. Now let's take a look at the following short list of things I would avoid during your first 3 months. First, don't buy every tool you come across. We've talked about this in another video. You don't need expensive software simply because someone tells you that you do. Second, don't constantly change your business idea. Give your idea enough time to breathe. Third, don't compare your numbers to other people. Your journey is your journey. Fourth, don't spend all your time learning and none of your time doing. There comes a point when you have to stop watching tutorials and actually take action. And finally, don't give up too quickly. You will probably have days when you wonder whether any of this is working. You may feel like nobody is watching, nobody is reading, nobody is buying. I've been there, and those moments can be discouraging. But sometimes growth is happening quietly, you just can't see it yet. Your 90-day check-in. So when you reach the end of your first 90 days, sit down and ask yourself a few questions. What did I accomplish? What did I learn? What did my audience respond to? What did not work? What do I enjoy doing? What do I not enjoy doing? What should I continue? What should I stop? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what should I focus on for the next 90 days? Because your first 90 days are not supposed to give you all the answers, they're supposed to give you information. You are learning about yourself, you're learning about your business, and you're learning about your audience. That's incredibly valuable. You don't need to have it all figured out. If you're watching this and you're still at the very beginning, you don't need to know exactly where your business will be 1 year from now. You don't need to have the perfect website. You don't need a huge following. You don't need to know every piece of technology, and you certainly don't need to have everything figured out. You simply need a direction, then you need to take the next step, then another, and another. That's how a business is built. One step at a time, one piece of content at a time, one customer at a time, one lesson at a time, and yes, sometimes one mistake at a time. That's part of the journey. Your simple 90-day roadmap. So let's bring everything together. For your first 30 days, focus on your foundation, get clear on your audience, choose your business model, choose one main offer, set up the basics, and start creating content. 4 days 31 to 60, focus on consistency. Keep showing up, keep creating, start listening to your audience. Pay attention to what people respond to, and don't get distracted by every new strategy that comes along. Then during days 61 to 90, start looking for patterns. What's working? What's getting attention? What questions are people asking? What can you improve? And what should you focus on next? That's it. Doesn't have to be complicated. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's video, it's this. You don't need to build your entire online business in 90 days. You simply need to give yourself 90 days to build a strong beginning. There is a big difference. Your first 90 days are about learning, they're about taking action, they're about finding your direction, and they're about proving to yourself that you can actually keep going. Because once you have those first 90 days behind you, you won't be the same beginner who started. You'll know more, you'll have more experience, you'll understand your audience better, and you'll have a much clearer idea of where you want to go next. So if you're starting your online business right now, don't look at the entire journey. That can feel overwhelming. Look at the next step. What can you do today? Maybe it's choosing your business idea. Maybe it's creating your first piece of content. Maybe it's setting up your website. Maybe it's simply sitting down and writing out your plan. Whatever that next step is, take it. Then tomorrow, take another one. And before you know it, those small steps start adding up. That's how you build something real. And that's exactly what we're going to keep doing together in this series. So don't worry about having everything figured out. Just keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.